Update on the building of the Third Temple. Those who think the Bible contains a literal fulfillment of the biblical covenants for the Jewish people and the land of Israel are aware that the reconstruction of the temple is an integral component of the future that has been promised to them. The following is a reading from Jeremiah's presentation of the new covenant for Israel. Hey worshipers, welcome back to the Divine Cross. In this video, we are going to see the latest updates on the building of the Third Temple. This verse discusses the Messianic age, which will occur when the Jewish people as a whole are redeemed and brought back to their land. When that time comes, a righteous descendant of David, who is also known as the Messiah, will reign on the throne in Jerusalem, and the temple will once again stand complete with its Levitical priesthood. Is there any indication that preparations are being made in Israel now for a third temple, assuming that this is going to become a future reality? Since 1987, when the temple movement first started making plans for the rebuilding of the Third Temple, efforts to see this become a reality in the 21st century have been gradually growing ever since then. Since the reconstruction of the temple is viewed as a spiritual endeavor by Orthodox Jews, they do not believe that secular Jews will have a part in the process. Despite the fact that modern Israel and a major percentage of the Jewish people across the diaspora are secular. Orthodox Jews are the ones responsible for reviving the Sanhedrin, the religious body that oversaw the legal matters pertaining to the temple, and they are also the ones who wish to see the temple reconstructed in the correct manner. Rebuilding the temple is significant to Orthodox Jews because, in their view, it's the only thing that can lead to the redemption of the world. They believe that this can take place only when the temple has been reconstructed. Gershon Solomon is the director of the Temple Mount Faithful, an organization that has been trying to prepare Israeli society to accept and promote the rebuilding of the temple through demonstrations at the temple site, the construction of a cornerstone for the third temple, and the making of various utensils related to the temple. Temple Mount Faithful is led by Gershon Solomon, and according to the words of Solomon, construction of the third temple is an act that must be done in order to complete the redemption of the people of the Bible in the land of the Bible. Without the Temple Mount serving as the focal point of Israeli life on this land, it is impossible for me to conceive of the existence of either an Israeli state or Israelis living there. On the other hand, a significant number of devout Jews do not endorse this concept because they have internalized a diaspora mindset and a spiritualized style of thought, both of which dismiss the possibility of a literal fulfillment of the biblical predictions concerning a future temple. They do not object to the current political status quo on the Temple Mount, which sees Muslims in possession of the holy place. The leaders of the temple movement among the Jewish people are of the opinion that the Jewish people are not living on the spiritual level that God intended for them because the Shekinah, also known as the divine presence, is not present in the world. There is a connection between the need for a new level of spiritual attainment and the need to rebuild the temple, according to Rabbi Chaim Rickman, the director of the Temple Institute, which has produced all the ritual vessels necessary for the function of the temple and works to train priests for this future work. He says that this connection can be explained as follows. The Shekinah is brought about only through the temple. Without the temple, we can never in any way accomplish what has been given to us as a people, and we will never be elevated to our spiritual stature. Only through rebuilding the temple, in the view of Orthodox Jews who are dedicated to the cause of restoring it, will it be possible to find solutions to the issues that currently plague both the globe and the Jewish people. Find out where we are on the schedule that God has set for the promised destiny of Israel, bringing together the dispersed members of Israel's lost tribes. Well, make sure you sign up to our video channel where you can stay updated on all the information. Find out what the signs of the times have to say about where we are on God's timeline, as well as what you can do to become part of the prophecy of being fulfilled, and find out what they have to say by signing up to our channel right here. Is the reconstruction of the temple any closer to being completed today? The international community is vehemently opposed to Israel's claims in Jerusalem, and this opposition is much stronger regarding Israel's contested possession of the Temple Mount. On a more practical level, Jews are prohibited by Israeli legislation from worshiping at the site, and Muslims, such as the Women in Black, who keep a continual vigil on Jewish presence at the site, regularly confront any Jews who attend. In addition, the Islamic authorities publicly refute the notion that there was ever a temple temple at the location in question. In spite of this, recent events have made progress toward achieving the objectives of the temple movement and bringing about the reconstruction of the temple during our lifetimes. In response to the allegation that the location of the Al-Aqsa Mosque on the Temple Mount was never home to a Jewish temple, archaeologists dug up evidence from the past several decades showing that the area where the mosque now stands, which Muslims believe Abraham constructed, was once a place where Jews performed rituals in preparation for entering the temple. The study that was filed by British archaeologist Robert Hamilton, who had documented excavations of the mosque's foundations after it was devastated by an earthquake in 1927, provided proof for this. Hamilton's report was filed in 2010. He uncovered the ruins of a rikva, or a ritual pool used for purification, that was hidden beneath the floor of the mosque. It dates back to the time of the Second Temple, when Jews purified themselves by immersing themselves in this pool prior to entering the temple precincts. These discoveries, which were buried deep within the records department of the British Mandatory Government because they embarrassed Muslim officials, now provide evidence that the ancient temple stood on the site of the modern Temple Mount and that it was a place where Jews were present. Wondering about the future that has been promised to Israel? Bringing together the dispersed members of Israel's lost tribes. Sign up to our channel by subscribing and pressing that bell icon, and you'll find out what the signs of the times have to say about where we are on God's timeline, as well as what you can do to become a part of the prophecy being fulfilled. Find out everything by making sure you subscribe to our channel. In relation to the preparations for the temple service, Sanhedrin has taken the required steps for the reinstatement of future temple services. The planting of the biblical temple forest, which will service the agricultural requirements of the Third Temple, has been one of the projects that the organization has been working on. When people think about sacrifices, they think about animals and blood, but the majority of them were from plants grown around Israel. Rabbi Hilla Weiss, a spokesman for Sanhedrin, explained that the temple served as a link between the land and the divine. When people think about sacrifices, they think about animals and blood, the rabbi said. In addition to being a member of the Sanhedrin, Rabbi Reichman has been in charge of an initiative to bring the holy red heifer back to Israel. According to Numbers 19, the ashes of the red heifer must be mixed with water before they can be used to purify Jews so that they can serve in the temple. This is a prerequisite for entering the temple. Only 9 red heifers were employed in the preparation of the waters that were used to purify Jews during the period of the First Temple and the Second Temple, which span about 1,000 years. The Jewish tradition states that the Messiah will utilize the 10th one when he arrives on Earth. In collaboration with an Israeli cattleman who is an expert in the field of animal husbandry science, Reichman and other rabbis from the Temple Institute are giving oversight and counseling. He's employing the method of implanting the frozen embryos of red Angus cattle, which are indigenous to the continent of North America, into Israeli domestic cattle in order to carry out his plan. It's not possible to bring a red heifer from another country to Israel in order to utilize it in the red heifer ceremony because the animal must have been born in the land of Israel and cannot have ever been yoked. The initiative is the product of years of research conducted at the Temple Institute that combines historical religious text with contemporary scientific findings. And that's going to bring us to the end of today's video. Please feel free to let us know what you think about our video. And if you liked it, please make sure you leave us a like and share it with all your friends and family and others who can find a lot of knowledge in this video we just shared with you. We would also like for you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you press that bell icon too. Thanks for watching.